2020 District 21 6A football preview show. Today we'll be breaking down what's being called the toughest district, not only in 6A, but in Texas high school football as a whole. To help us discuss the District of Doom, we welcome in friend of the show and friend of TexanLive.com, Channel ABC 13 sports producer Joe Gleason. Joe, welcome in. Glad to have you on. How are you?
Thank you, Chase. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. Glad you're coming on.
Right.
We'll jump right in here. First up, we'll start with the two-time reigning state champion, back-to-back state champion, Northshore Mustangs. Let's take a look.
Gentry, the tailback to the left. Davis with time. Over the middle, wide open, caught. 10, 5, end zone, touchdown. Zorhan Redu.
He's in the backfield. Davis looking, got a man open. Pitching, catches it, 45, 35, 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Over 1,000 yards so far. Here's a handoff to Evans, straight up the middle, 50, 40, it's nothing. Going to catch that guy. All the way to the 20, 10, touchdown.
Rugby-style punch. Taken on a hop by Banks at the 36. Banks bouncing it left, look out. He's got Yeoman to beat, cuts it inside. 30, 20. Banks is gone. Touchdown, North Shore.
Wow, what a big play right there.
They switched. Davis, quarterback draw down to 30, 20. Got one man to beat, 10. Touchdown, Davis. 42-yard touchdown scamper.
One of the things we talk about all the time on TexanLive.com, we have our contracts with all the people we do. Evans, breaking tackle, breaks another. There you go, baby. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Evans.
Zachary Evans going the distance.
Wow, this young man.
Two receivers split up top on the right, one to the left. First and 10. Here's a handoff to Hagan to the right side, the 40, 45, 50. Splits the 30. If he gets a block, he's going to go all the way. Touchdown!
61-yard run. Second touchdown of the night for Hagan.
He sent backfield for Davis out of the shotgun, left hash mark 30-yard line. Davis takes the snap, steps up, pumps left, will run left, down the sideline 20, cuts it back right to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown, North Shore. They strike first with 8:50 to play in the opening quarter. Handoff left. Look at the burst from Zachary Evans, still going. Zachary Evans, inside. Touchdown, North Shore. Zachary Evans.
Wow. I mean, that is just beast mode right there. Absolutely running out of arm tackles. And
North Shore is led by head coach John Kay, who has guided North Shore to 3 state titles in 2015, 2018, and 2019 in the last decade. North Shore, a perennial powerhouse, figures to be the favorite in 21-6A. We discussed with John Kay yesterday. Let's take a look at that. We now welcome on 3-time state champion head coach John Kay. Coach, how you doing? How's that sound?
Well, I'm hoping we get another season in and we can all get back to working on something else. But, it never gets old, that's for sure.
When you look at this 2020 squad, how does it differentiate between the 2018 and 2019 state champion squads?
I think we have a lot of work to do. And without having spring ball, I think that's going to be huge for us of trying to make some adjustments to make sure these kids are ready to go if and when we have that season for 2020. I think we've got some good leadership like we've had those 2 other teams. We're working to answer some questions on the offensive line and the defensive secondary and special teams. But, I think we've got some potential and hopefully these kids will have an opportunity to go out there and compete.
Well, there are some differences going into this next season, but what is the same is your starting quarterback, Demetrius Davis, going into his 4th season as a starter. What have you seen from him? What kind of growth have you seen from him as he enters his senior year?
I think where he's really embraced is his leadership role in the entire program from top to bottom. And, his work ethic is just unbelievable. And so when we've got a bunch of kids that are seeing a kid of his experience and his caliber come to work every day, I mean, his off season, he was working as hard as he was when he was trying to earn a job as a freshman. So, that's an exciting guy to have on your team and certainly a guy that's always going to give you an opportunity to be successful.
Now you're losing your top 3 running backs. Who are you looking forward to stepping up for you guys?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of potential guys that can fill that role, and they're unproven on a Friday night, but they've certainly worked their tails off here for us so far. And I know this would have been an exciting spring for those guys that are competing for that running back spot. And I would anticipate it being more of by committee than anything else, unless somebody really steps up and earns that spot. But I feel like we've got a lot of candidates that could give us some production there.
Lots of changes on the defensive side of the football as well. What are you looking for on the defensive side, change-wise?
Yeah, certainly we need to shore up our secondary, and we've got some new faces at linebacker. But I think overall we've got 2 guys returning in the middle, and Alonzo Brown and Aaron Brown. And, when we try to build from the inside out and defensively speaking, I think that gives us a chance. So, we've got some guys that we feel like are going to be productive on the D-line. Probably a little bit more athletic in the front 7, but we're certainly going to need some guys to step up in the back end to be a complete defense.
How are you guys preparing for this 2020 season? You've mentioned it a couple times. You don't have any spring ball.
Yeah, it's tough. I think everybody's trying to be as creative as they can. More than anything right now, I think we're all just looking for some answers so far as a timeline. So when they think we might be able to get kids back up here. And, in the meantime, we're trying to do some things through the app, and, we'll get a little bit more involved in our Zoom meetings. But, until we get some clarification from the UIL, and they've been very clear as what they're waiting on, but until we get some definite timeline, we're really just using this time to try and design different scenarios for the summer, and then find out what we're going to do with a fall camp, which we haven't done here in a long time. Take advantage of that second scrimmage, and so that's gonna go a long way in determining the development of this team.
You guys have arguably the toughest district in the entire state. What was your reaction when you saw the 21-6A district?
I don't think there's much argument about it. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I think it was like a lot of people on this side of town, just excited. I think it gives our kids an opportunity to compete day in and day out. Obviously, it's going to be a rough road, but I think it's a great showcase for East Houston football, and to stay right here on the Beltway with the schools that we've got going in. We're all familiar with each other. These kids are familiar with each other, and I think you're going to see some great football week in and week out. And, as a high school football fan, I'm excited about that.
Last question for you. Are you optimistic about football in 2020?
I am. I'm optimistic that the things that we can control are going to be controlled, and if it goes beyond something that we can control, then I get it. And there's just obviously it's out of our hands. But I'm optimistic that we're going to find some sort of normalcy, although there's obviously going to be some adjustments. But I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
Coach, it's been a pleasure. Good luck on trying to three-peat this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all's work.
Joe, we'll start with you. What is your take on the 2020 Northshore Mustangs?
Well, obviously they're really, really, really talented. There are some questions, but we're in May right now, so those questions will be answered by the time August comes around. But with Demetrius Davis at quarterback, 2-time state offensive MVP, 2-time back-to-back state champion, his leadership really shows through the way that he gets the guys together, even in the summer workout, quarantine workout. I was at his dad kind of organized. He was out there throwing passes. Coach K didn't really name names as far as running backs, but maybe look for Xavier Owens. Davion Ford transferred into North Shore. He was at Bel Air last year, 1,100 all-purpose yards, 20 TDs, and also Caleb Rawls, who was a JV guy. They'll rely on a lot of their JV guys that come up with the inexperience maybe that they've had so far. Charles King, wide receiver. Shadrach Banks is coming off of an injury at wide receiver. So receivers are pretty talented. Jalen Bailey, look for him to have a big year. Offensive line, they have one returner. But while I was out at that workout, they had guys that looked very, very capable of handling, protecting Demetrius Davis.
In the running backs wise, you talked about they're losing Evans, they're losing Hagan, they're losing Gentry. Who do you see stepping up for North Shore?
Well, like Coach K said, I think it's going to be a running back by committee. He also alluded that it's going to be based on production and not projection. Davion Ford, Xavier Owens, I would have to say probably would get the bulk of the carries, but look at last year. Evans, Higgins, and John Gentry all played a big role in North Shore success, so they're not against throwing 3 guys in there and rotating them out.
Not at all. And Gavin, you have some thoughts on North Shore as well.
Well, Joe put it pretty simple. There's nothing that really they can't do if they have Demetrius Davis at quarterback, and he's been able to stay healthy his entire career. And Davis, you saw just recently decommitted from Virginia Tech, opening back up his recruitment, and I think he can go anywhere he wants to and succeed at the next level. But first, he's got a senior year ahead of him, and they have Shadrack Banks returning. He's an A&M commit. We saw him commit here at the studio, and 2 talented kids on that offense that they're bringing back. Regardless of who's at running back, I think they can succeed.
Joe, have you gotten any insight as to what Demetrius Davis is thinking recruiting-wise? He just decommitted from Virginia Tech last week.
Not really. I just think he wants to concentrate on his senior year. And when I was out there and I talked to him, he just said, I'm not really worried about that. I'll sign a paper in December and I'll enroll, and then that's the school I'll go to. But I think he wants to three-peat. He said he wants to have his name as known as one of the best, and I'm on his way for that.
He's certainly on his way. Defensively for the Mustangs, they'll be losing a lot of key defensive pieces, headlined by Corey Flagg. How do you think they'll combat those losses?
I think they'll be okay. I know Coach Cross, defensive coordinator, will cook up a plan, but there will be another Flagg on the field. Corey's brother Caleb will play safety for the Mustangs. Look for Denver Harris. He's super talented, been offered by everybody. The linebacker group is a question mark right now, but Darius Clark and Kent Battle are guys that I think will step up, and Coach Cross will put them in a position to succeed. And as Coach K said, the defensive line is really their strength. They were young last year, but they were talented. Aaron Brown and Alonzo Brown will headline that defensive front. So I don't think you really have to worry about North Shore's defense. Coach Cross will have them ready.
They're certainly looking to three-peat this upcoming season. Should be a lot of fun to watch. The second, we have the Cking Panthers right down the road from North Shore. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from their 2019 campaign.
In the backfield, only receiver to the right side. Handoff up the middle, across the 50, loose down the sideline to the 40, 30, to the 20, 10, 5, and into the end zone for the score.
Ball game. 4th down in the ball game here for Kitchen and Cking. Back to pass, he's going to step it up. He thought about trying to get him himself. Saw a man come open, completes to Washington, and there it is. King in the end zone.
He came to the Panther sideline going, Coach, I want out.
Fumble, picked up. He could score. He will. Touchdown.
Side. You know who, Noel Wright, spin move, breaking free again, he's in, once again, touchdown King, 42 yards, easily. Handoff right side, down the sideline, Wembley is going to go in easily, touchdown.
2nd and 6, ball on the 46, looks deep, pass is caught at the 15, 5, touchdown Panthers.
3rd down and 7. Play fake from Kitchione, fires a screen left, wide open, plenty of running room. Up the sideline goes Jordan Jackson. Jordan Jackson is in for the touchdown.
2 receivers stacked on top of each other to the near side. Handoff up the middle is to Harris. Harris is loose down the left sideline. 10-5 touchdown. Malik Harris from 39 yards out.
Under the direction of head coach Derek Fitzhenry, the Panthers went 7-4 last season and finished 4th in a loaded district that included North Shore and Westbrook. King fell in the first round to Humble, and Gavin, you had a chance to catch up with Fitzhenry yesterday.
Standing by with King head coach Derek Fitzhenry. Coach, what have you and your staff done during this time away from the game to keep your players both fit physically and mentally?
We sent them obviously some of them don't have access to weights. So we sent them a body workout. Had Coach Dunson. Coach Dunson's got pretty extensive background and that kind of stuff. And so we sent all the players through their email and some don't have cell phones. So they have a workout that's a body workout and that they can do daily. Then we give an award. We recognize they send us videos, their workouts, and we give an award each week, a Panther Award, to whoever has the best workout. And we're taking that to another step. We're going to have we'll actually have 7 different awards each week, and then those 7 will compete for the Panther Award, and obviously there's some reward after that. But basically that's what we're doing, is trying to motivate them to stay with it, stay positive. We have that's what we're doing physically. Mentally, we have position meetings twice a week through Zoom, whatever the kids have access to. So each position coach has about a 25, 30-minute meeting with the kids twice a week, just doing install, watching videos, watching practice film. Just anything they can do just to keep the mental aspect going.
Right. Coach, you're now in what's being called the toughest district in Texas high school football. When you first found out about the new 21-6A, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you want to. I mean, I'm being serious about this. You want to compete against the best. I mean, we know we're going to have to play against Northshore every year. I mean, we know that we're right here next to them. So, they're obviously the example for everybody. I mean, their program sets the example statewide, and you can measure yourself against those great programs. So, we want our school district. We're out here on the Beltway, and we want to be a part of that. So we welcome it. I mean, obviously it's going to be tough for all our sports. And, but at the end of the day, you want to be in a great district like this because you can measure yourself. You can measure where you're at with your sub-varsities. You can measure yourself with your varsity. Are you becoming a solid program? CE King was, I think, 4A in 2013. So here we are in 2020, we're 6A. And so each game, each week, we'll be able to tell, are we becoming a premier 6A program, which is what we want to do. And being in a district like this helps us do that.
So, Coach, you talked about Northshore, and we'll talk about some of the other teams that are in the district. You guys made the postseason last year and fell in the first round to Humble, who you now get to play this year and next season in district competition. Is that a matchup you have marked on your calendar?
Yeah, certainly. But, I mean, they're all – I mean, we lost to Summer Creek the year before last in the first round. And Kingwood in 2017, we came down to us and Kingwood for the playoff spot. And they beat us. So, if we're going to take the next step, we're going to have to find a way to challenge those guys and beat those type teams.
Your team is bringing back quite a bit of talent this year, particularly quarterback Cameron Kinchin. He's not only a star athlete on the field, but in the classroom as well. As you know, he's a guy that's leading your program that's in the top 2% of his graduating class. And how much do you think the younger guys on the team model themselves after Cameron?
Yeah, Cameron's, certainly a shining example of what you want an athlete to be. He's put a lot of effort in his academics, and he's always put a lot of effort into being a great quarterback too. He works at being a great quarterback. Ever since he's been in the 7th, 8th grade, they go through quarterback camps, and he does things during the summer to try to better himself. We've got 31 games invested in him as a freshman quarterback, a JV quarterback, and then as a junior on the varsity. So we got 31 games invested in him, and he's done a great job of showing how you're supposed to do this as an athlete and in the classroom.
Coach, your team last year had 21 first-team all-district selections, including most of your defense. And is a strong defense like the one you had last year something you and your staff will try to emulate in 2020 specifically?
Yes, I mean, we had a great defense and had a lot of great players over there. We have some of those guys coming back, but obviously, I believe in a great defense and, taking care of the football on offense and trying to create turnovers on defense. And so hopefully we can continue that. I think we finished second statistically in defense last year. And Coach George Young is the defensive coordinator, and Coach Dunson, Coach Mallard and Davis and Coach Walter Moorhan. I mean, those guys all have college experience and all great coaches and did a fabulous job last year.
All right, now final question. How optimistic are you that there will be football in the fall for you guys to play?
Say that again.
How optimistic are you guys that there will be football in the fall for you guys to play?
No, I'm going to play. I mean, we got to play. I mean, we got to move on, man. We got to play. I mean, I have no doubt in that we're going to play football. I mean, that's how I'm approaching everything. Same thing when we had the flood. We had the flood here. I approached it every day like we're going to play football. And that's how we're going to work at it. That's how we're going to proceed. No doubts. We're playing football.
That's what we like to hear. Coach, we're looking forward to 2020. Thank you. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Joe, what is your take on the Panthers from Sheldon ISD?
They got potential. I mean, they got potential. You just have to see if they live up to it. Their quarterback is pretty amazing on and off the field. Gavin touched on it with a coach there. He's 18th in his class. He can run. He can pass. His dad puts a real emphasis on education, and he wants to further his education and make it a 40-year decision when he decides where he wants to go, not a 4-year decision. And I got a chance to actually catch up with him a little bit, and I don't know if we can roll that real quick and listen to Cam.
I've seen you play last year, and I was really impressed with your dual style, being a dual style quarterback. And as I was doing research on you, you posted your report card online. That is more impressive than you on the field. 4.638 GPA, 18th in your class out of 637. Wow, that's impressive.
Ever since I was a young kid, my dad, he was more worried about my grades than how I was on the field, but also making sure I'm getting better on the field. But he stayed on me about grades, and then after a while, I kind of took the reins, but just making sure my grades were at least a B, but I go for A's though.
On that, you tagged Brown, Yale, Navy. Are those the type of schools that you're interested in?
Schools like that, knowing that on the back end, it's not just a 4-year decision, but a 40.
So you're in a competitive district. Northshore is still in there, but you bring the Atascocita and the Humble ISD schools in. Just overall, what are your impressions?
Other people ask me, I say it's top 2 districts in the state of Texas. So every game is going to be a battle. So just we got to work to be able to compete against teams like that.
Talk about some of the players, some of your teammates that you feel are going to lead your team on the offensive side of the football.
Along with me in the backfield, I got Drill Wembley. He's going to be upcoming junior. His sophomore year, he did well for his sophomore. Was also a 3-back rotation. We got receivers like Gianni Norman, Jordan Jackson, Cody Russi, a utility back, Reggie Brown, players like that we can get them in open field, make plays for us.
And can people expect the same thing from you, where you can do it with your arm or your legs?
Yes, sir. That's all I've been working on.
What have you been working on in this time?
Just with my QB trainer, my dad, my footwork trainer, just make sure my feet stay alive, working on my arm motion, just trying to fix little mechanical issues that I have, just to kind of put me over the top.
And then what about on the defensive side of the football? Who do you have on the squad that you think is going to lead on that side of the ball?
D-line stout, so I say all of them. Cam Taylor, Will Evans, sophomores, and Marquise Williams. He like 6'3", DN, get anybody. I can honestly say the whole defense, because everybody plays their role. Everybody knows what they got to do. And I've seen, just from being in quarantine, everybody's getting better. And especially because we were a young team. Well, now we're a young team. So even after we're gone, those players are still going to be able to make an impact.
So with Northshore being your neighbors, did you play against some of those guys growing up? And did you play against some of the Humble ISD guys that you're going to have in your district this year?
Yes, sir. So I grew up playing in HAFL, and so that's Humble Area Football League. So most of them that they played in that league, they ended up going to schools that were in Humble. So I played against them, and I played with Lil D. So at Northshore, so I've been playing against him since 2nd grade, and just players like that. It was a constant competition.
What are you looking forward to most playing wise your senior year?
Just becoming more of an impact player. A player that when the team needs a big play, they can call on me. Players being more of a, I guess, more of a leader. My junior year, I was that player sometimes, but I want to be that player all the time.
Well, I sure appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Joe, great stuff as always. Thank you very much. Gavin, what's your take on the Panthers from CE King?
We saw Coach Fitzhenry talk about they've got 31 games invested in Cameron Kinchin, and I say in your senior year for him, you let him take the reins. I mean, you got 10 games as a freshman, 10 games as a junior varsity quarterback, and then 11 last year, including the playoff game in the first round they lost to Humble. So I see you let Kinchin take the reins. He's a smart kid because he knows the playbook. He's top 2% in his class, 12-20 SAT, and he wants to be a future engineer, and he's got a long career ahead of him academically and on the field. And then as far as the defense goes, they've got 13 first-team all-district selections. That's more than a starting defense. That's 2 extra kids. And so I think next year they just need to repeat their defensive side, how they played last year, and let Kinchin take the reins of their offense.
Impressive kid. Next, we have the Summer Creek Bulldogs. Let's take a look back at their 2019 campaign.
To go here in the first half.
2nd down and 4. Boom. Pass complete in the flat on the
Good mark, he may go. There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Joseph.
He's got a hustle.
20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Summer Creek.
Yep. Right on cue, baby. Right on cue. Nothing but pay dirt.
The tall Joseph in motion. Torrey Curry, he's got daylight left side. Torrey Curry into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
On return, number 5, John, touchdown Peavy. Peavy will go the distance. Touchdown Bulldogs. John, touchdown Peavy.
Take the snap. Torrey Curry running up the gut. Curry inside the 10, inside the 5, reaching for the goal line. He's got it. Touchdown, Summer Creek.
1. And the snap goes over Escalani's head. It's inside the 2, and you got to drop the football.
That first down rolls out. Pressure coming, slings it, intercepted. Following his blockers. Still going, and he's going to take it to the house. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Sean Christoph King on the interception.
The Bulldogs are led by head coach Kenny Harrison. After surprising people with a fantastic 2018 season, they missed the playoffs in 2019, but returned star quarterback Brian Bush for this season. Gavin, you caught up with Coach Harrison yesterday. Let's take a look.
Standing by with Summer Creek head coach Kenny Harrison. Coach, one thing we've been asking everyone is how their staff has kept the players fit in a time where there's no weight room and no no organized team activities. Coach, same question for you.
Definitely. What my coaching staff has done a tremendous job of doing is having Zoom meetings with our kids on a weekly basis. We've posted both non and weight workouts for our kids to do. So we feel real good about the things that our kids are doing.
Coach, after playing exceptionally well in 2018 and just missing the postseason last year, is there a plan for your team or anything that must happen in order to get back to contention?
Just get prepared to compete at a very high level. We've emphasized to our kids the importance to making sure that we have not lost things that we were doing early on in March. I've added a couple new coaches, new defense coordinator and Coach Harper, James Harper from Beaumont, Westbrook, and the secondary coach, Johnny Sanders from Klein Forest High School. So I think that addition with the young kids that we have that got experience last year will set us up for success.
Coach Harrison, your star quarterback Brian Bush is returning for his senior season as a former district MVP as a sophomore in 2018. How have you and your staff continued to develop him as a prospect and the leader of your team?
Brian, he was injured last year, early on in the year, so he had a real bad ankle injury. But one thing that we've done, we just got back to the basics with him that helped him become the district MVP as a sophomore. Just got back to the basics, gave him an opportunity to gain his confidence again. He's healthy. He's looking forward to a great senior season, and we're excited about his ability coming up.
With the new district, which has been called the toughest district in Texas high school football, you're not only playing the other Humble ISD schools, but Northshore, Westbrook, and King as well. How have you and your staff been prepping, even right now, 3 months away from the season, for this tough district competition?
I think the main thing is just keeping our kids active and being productive on their own. I think this is a time that, you emphasize about leadership, especially senior leadership. We've told our guys how important it was to continue to work out, and they've done a great job up until this point. We just got to continue doing that, and once we're able to get back to work, we've told them we want to be at mid-season form, just as the senior leadership that we have with our guys working and making sure the other guys are working out at this time.
All right, Coach, final question. How optimistic are you that we'll have a full season this year?
I feel real good about our chances. I'm just like everybody else, just ready to get back out there. But I feel real good that we'll have a season this upcoming season.
All right, thank you, Coach. Best of luck in 2020.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Joe, we'll start this with you. What are you expecting from Summer Creek in 2020?
Well, they're going to compete. They got a lot of young guys on their squad, but Coach alluded to the fact that James Harper comes over as his defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. He came from Westbrook, so he might give him a little bit of a eye on what the Bruins will do. Also, Johnny Sanders comes over from Klein Forest and Westbury. So a little bit of a change in coaching staff, but capable guys. Their offensive line up front is young. They have a guy that's been offered, and he's actually committed to Oklahoma State, Kelvin Banks Jr. But young, I think, at a lot of positions, but they will certainly compete.
Gavin, what did you see?
Well, we saw that they have to get Bush in the offense back to the 2018 form where they went to, I believe, the third or the fourth round, and we saw them have a really impressive 2018 campaign, then take a step back perhaps last year and miss the playoffs. And I think they also need to limit the turnovers, get Bush back to his form. And we saw them defensive touchdowns for Shadow Creek in the Week 1 game last year that they ended up losing to the Sharks, who, as we know, went on to win the state championship. And then Bush threw the pick six against Dobie with 56 seconds left in a one-possession game, and Dobie ended up finishing as the 2 seed in the district. So I think against those impressive defenses, they need to just get Bush to calm down a little bit and get back to the form that we saw him in 2 years ago where he won district MVP as a sophomore.
Joe kind of alluded to the Westbrook Bruins. We now talk about the Beaumont Westbrook Bruins. They are 2 years removed from a 2018 season where they were 1 drive, 1 point away from the 2018 6A D2 state championship. Last year they fell in the second round to Strake Jesuit. Westbrook is under the leadership of Eric Peavy. Let's take a look.
Pumping is Yeoman. Over the middle, got a man. Bouncing off a would-be tackler, gets a great block. Touchdown, Beaumont, Westbrook.
Anderson takes a snap on 3rd and 11, looking to throw. Dropping back deep, Anderson steps up in the pocket. He's going to run. He's up across the 30, inside the 20, 10-5, hitting the outside. Touchdown, Westbrook.
Yeoman is out of the gun. Looking left all the way, throwing left, diving catch, Mayde! Touchdown, Beaumont!
They'll take the snap, it's a handoff, and finding running room is Javion Manuel, 2015, 10-5, touchdown Westbrook. Pocket launches it deep down the left hash, has a receiver, it's caught at the CE King 40, breaks a tackle loose at the 10-5 and into the end zone. A big play for the Bruins.
And it's picked off! He is in! And just like that, that might have closed the door on the game.
To the right, 2 receiver to the left. Anderson looking to throw, will tuck and run. Gets out of a tackle. Anderson still going. He's across the 40, still going, hitting the sideline. He's across the 20, 15, 10-5, touchdown, Westbrook.
Oh, they're going to run it on 4th down, and he will go up the middle.
He may be gone.
And to the 50, to the 40. He has got one defender to beat. And Bob defender was blocked to go down to the end zone and score a touchdown.
8 to the right, 2 to the left. Yeoman takes the snap. It's going to be a handoff. Foxall running left side across the 25-20, hitting the outside lane. 10, cuts it back inside. 5, and Foxall.
You have man coverage over there on the left side.
Yeoman trying to set up a screen for Johnson. They set it up beautifully. Thad Johnson to the open field. Thad Johnson still going. Thad Johnson is gone. He's in for the second time tonight. Touchdown Westbrook.
We also have a couple interviews for you. Yesterday I had a chance to speak to Eric Peavy. Let's cut to that. We now welcome on Westbrook head coach Eric Peavy. Coach, how are you doing during this whole thing?
Just waiting for the day I can wear a whistle again. That's all I'm doing. Waiting for the day. My kids are getting tired of my 6 and 8-year-old are tired of hearing it at home, and I'm whistling them all the time. But I'm waiting for the day I can break this whistle back out.
How are you and the coaches getting the kids ready for the potential 2020 season?
We're just the same as everybody else, meeting with them online, trying to daily get online, have them daily little workouts they can do, and just having Zoom meetings and staff meetings with them, and just trying our best to do anything we can to just keep a constant line of communication with them and, teach them as well. It's just such a new thing for all of us, and it's tough, but we're able to at least stay in contact with our kids during this time.
In 2018, you guys got so close against Longview, losing by 1 point. Last season, you lost in the second round. What do you guys need to do in 2020 to get back into contention and get over the hump?
Well, one, we need to get back to working out again, but just get
That's true. That's a good point.
The deal was, I think that at all levels last year, for our freshman, JV, varsity, our kids were very competitive. We have some really good groups coming up. And, I thought last year's group they almost overlooked the first couple rounds of the playoffs. They were just, I don't know, saying they expected, like they felt like they were just going to be in state instead of having to work to get there. And it takes a lot. It's a battle of attrition to get there. It's hard, with injuries. And then the next thing is just keeping every week your mental outlook of, I'm only worried about this week. I'm not worried about next week. I'm not worried about the next. I'm worried only about this week, this play, this game, this team we're playing. And sometimes that slips when you're dealing with 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. You don't know where their minds are at sometimes. So it's our job as coaches to make sure they're staying focused. So we've got to do a better job as coaching staff and just making sure that we're keeping that weekly focus with our kids.
You're losing a lot of key contributors offensively, including your starting quarterback, Troy Yeoman. However, you do have a dynamic athlete in Bryce Anderson stepping up. What will change offensively?
Oh, well, there's going to be a little bit changing. We're not going to change our system or what we do offensively. You lose receivers like Thad Johnson and Joey Pierre, and then you lose a guy like Troy who set every passing record in Westbrook. But the positive is we'll return 3 running backs. We'll return a lot of offensive linemen. We'll return 2 tight ends. We're going to be young at the receiver spot, but at the same point, when you add in Bryce with that mix that we have coming back, you're going to see a lot. We will change it up enough. We'll have more tight ends in the field and things like that. But at the same point, we still will be able to stretch the field from sideline to sideline. That's our main purpose. Bryce is also a stud safety for you guys. He is leading the way defensively. What are some defensive changes you'll see this upcoming season? We've been at a 4-man front the last 2 years. We're going back to a 3-man front, and just because the strength of our team, what we feel like fits our players a little bit better with the speed that we have on the field. We're only returning 2 defensive players, period. So there's going to be a lot of new faces on the defensive side. There'll be a lot of juniors and sophomores. So we're going to have a young team, looking at it overall. But I think our kids we're going to be very athletic, very fast, and our kids are going to take a little while to get to, learn what they're doing. But once that happens, we'll be pretty good. What was your reaction when you saw the 21-6A district? It's one of the toughest in the state of Texas. You better get your mind right. That's my deal with our players. And I tell everybody, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And our district has it. I mean, whoever comes out of our district, and hopefully it's the Bruins at the end of it, they're going to be battle tested, and you're going to be ready for the playoffs. It doesn't matter if it's small school division or big school division. Now, the positive for us, you look at it, we're sitting at around 2,300 kids. In the last couple of years, we didn't know if we were going to go small school or big school to the last game of the year. Well, in this district, we're the smallest school in the district. So, I mean, all we have to do is do our job and get in the playoffs, and we'll at least be guaranteed into the small school bracket. But when it comes to playoff teams, when you get to play teams like Northshore, which we have the last 2 years, it just makes you better. Atascocita makes you better, and it prepares you for the playoffs.
Last question before you go, Coach. Are you optimistic about football this upcoming 2020 season?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I've been watching the counts or numbers going down, and I just really feel like we're going to get it right in the state of Texas. They're going to figure it out, get it right. We're going to get football on beat. We're going to get school back, and there's going to be some normalcy come back. That's the most important thing, getting some normalcy coming back that for these kids. The biggest thing is being consistent with them, and for them having something daily to do, and they need that.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Coach, thank you so much. Good luck this upcoming season.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Joe, what is your take on the 2020 campaign coming up for the Westbrook Bruins, trying to get back to that state championship?
Well, I think it all starts with Bryce Anderson. And one thing that's been consistent with all the quarterbacks so far that we've talked about in this district, Demetrius Davis, Cam Kinchins, and Brian Bush, is they're dynamic. And this kid is absolutely dynamic. He's an LSU commit, plays offense and defense. I actually got a chance to catch up with him a little earlier and hear a little bit of that.
First off, just tell us what you've been up to and how you've been doing. I hadn't seen you since you committed to LSU.
All right, I've been doing well. Been working out with some of my guys, throwing some routes, getting together with the team, some of the DBs, some of the offensive linemen, getting together, trying to build some more chemistry before the season starts.
You really have your hands full because you play on both sides of the ball. So which one do you concentrate more on?
I'm going to start this year at quarterback, and I'm going to play some snaps, about 20 snaps a game at cornerback, preferably red zone, third down situations.
But mostly quarterback?
Yes, sir. I'm going to start quarterback.
And so for people that aren't familiar, you do it all. I mean, you run if you need to run, you throw it if you need to throw it, right?
I'm a shotgun quarterback, spread, run pass option.
Do you kind of come to the line and have an idea where you want to go, or do you come to the line and say, okay, check, 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 this is where I'm going to go, and if this guy does this, I got to do this?
Right, no doubt. Usually I key the defensive end. If the defensive end crash, I'll pull it, then my eyes go to the outside linebacker. If he keep me, I throw the bubble. If he goes to the bubble, I keep it and run. It's really a powerful offense.
Can you just talk a little bit about some of the people on the offensive side of the ball for Westbrook this year that we need to keep an eye on?
My offensive line, we lost a few guys, but we're returning a lot of solid guys in the church. We're going to be real strong. Cameron Handy, he has a couple of offers. On receivers, we lost Thad Johnson and Joy Pierre. We have some upcoming guys such as Joe Hayes, Montavian Jones, Andre Dennis. Our backs, we lost Jacoby Holland. He's 2020. We're returning two backs, Jermichael Foxhall and Jordan Guidry.
Just playing in that district, what do you think it's going to be like with the Atascocita and the Humble guys coming in and joining the North Shores and the CE Kings?
It's a very popular district. You know, they say it's one of the toughest districts in Texas, really. And, like, it's going to be tough. You know, you have two-time state champs, North Shore. You have a powerhouse, Summer Creek and powerhouse, Atascocita. And it's a real tough district. But we're ready. We're ready to accept the challenge, and we're going to come out and compete every Friday night.
What do you think about playing here in Houston? You guys, having the district, not playing district ball out there in Beaumont. Do you like coming to Houston and playing teams here?
Actually, it really don't matter. All we need is a ball in the field. We're going to make it happen. That's it.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
What about on the defensive side? Can you talk a little bit about some of the guys that are going to lead you on the defense?
We have our starting linebackers returning. Gabriel Silva and Gary Richard is going to be very key for us and very strong. In the trenches, we lost both our ends, but we're returning some very powerful guys there too.
Just how do you kind of keep everything in perspective? Because, you have just such a great mannerism about yourself don't seem like you let all the success kind of get to your head. How do you keep all that in perspective?
Just staying humble, really. Don't let it get to my head and keep working, because whenever I'm not working, somebody else is working. So it's my mindset.
The situation where you're on defense in situations, maybe red zone, what have you, how much do you like playing on defense?
I love playing defense. I love taking on the challenge week in and week out and going guard the best receiver, taking them out the game. I love doing that.
And when you get to the next level, you think you can play defense or offense or wherever they want to put you?
I can play wherever, but I think I'm preferably going to play defense.
What do you think about all the LSU Tigers getting drafted?
I love it. That whole defense got drafted, and I'm ready to be on that team, Coach.
And I appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging in with me. Best of luck this season, and good luck to Westbrook.
Yes, sir. Thank you a lot.
Chase Bryce Anderson will definitely be a name to remember. He also mentioned a couple of his running backs, Jermichael Foxhill and Jordan Guidry. Those guys will play a key role. Foxhill is a powerful, fast guy. He gets one cut and goes, and he's gone. And Guidry is a power back, so he'll be able to grind it out. So big things coming from Westbrook.
Gavin, what is your take on the 2020 Westbrook Bruins?
Well, I think it'll be easy for Westbrook. I mean, they have to replace Troy Yeoman with Bryce Anderson, who's a bit of an athlete. He can play any position you really want him to: defense, offense, special teams, anything like that. But if you're going to keep him healthy at quarterback, I think that's going to be the key to their success. I mean, he's a running guy. He likes to use his athleticism, and he can run a little bit. So keep him healthy. And then I think the big key for Westbrook this coming year is don't overlook the smaller opponents. Like last year, they beat Strake Jesuit in the regular season, then lost them in the second round of the playoffs. And I think it's because, like Coach Peavy said, they got a little bit too far ahead of themselves, maybe overlooked Strake Jesuit a little bit, and that's what led to them losing in the second round.
Next up, the Atascocita Eagles. Let's take a look back.
Coverage is nice ball game. Matthews in the gun, gives straight up the middle. Nope, fakes it. Man open down deep. Number 11, and pass is caught. 10-5. Touchdown, Atascocita. Dylan Robinson on the reception.
To his left, Matthews. Pitch play to T.J. Thomas. Thomas is going to flip and try to throw. He throws to the end zone, has a man wide open, and it's caught for the touchdown.
Matthews looking left. Now looking right, throws off his back foot, end zone, touchdown, Atascocita, Landon King.
Our side, in the pistol now, handoff, fakes it, caught. Now he's going to come down towards the near side, tossing. He's got his wide receiver, makes the catch at the 25-yard line, breaks the tackle, down the sidelines, touchdown.
Out wide, Matthews looking to throw on 2nd and 7. Matthews stepping up in the pocket, throws over the middle, pass is caught. Landon King inside the 5, reaching for the end zone. He got it. Touchdown, Atascocita.
Give up the middle of the box, looking for a man downfield, and intercepted, but flags are going to be thrown on the play. Across the 30, the 40, 50, 40. Wamawachi, the 30, 20, 10, makes a move, and down at the, breaks the tackle. 5, touchdown, Atascocita. But we'll have to check the flag on
your screen, wide side of the field, complete. Keith Wheeler breaking down the sideline. He's going to go inside the 10, striding into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles. There is a flag. Matthews on play action. He finds a wide open Landon King at the Northshore 45, and he will stride down the right hash mark for the Eagle touchdown. No flags. 60.
Sessions looking to throw. Under pressure, rolling to his right. Sessions gets out of a sack, he'll roll to his left, looking to throw, heaves it down the field, it's going to be wide open in the end zone, caught, touchdown, Atascocita.
A great play there from Gavin.
Out there.
London throw it on 1st down.
Got a man.
And wide open, there it goes, Birds.
See you later. Dylan Robinson to the house.
On for Atascocita. Thomas with the carry, and he's up across the 40. Across midfield, and he is off to the races. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, T.J. Thomas.
Jeremiah Ballard is the punter, standing in his own end zone. Punt from Ballard, up and away. Blaylock will field it inside the 45. Blaylock, here he goes on the return, left side, got a convoy on front, inside the 25, 20, still going, hits the sideline, 10-5, touchdown, Atascocita.
Joe, the Atascocita Eagles are consistently good year in and year out. What is your take on the 2020 Eagles?
Well, they have a great culture out there. Coach Stubb does a great job with those guys and bringing them in, a new group each year, and they'll have to replace Bryce Matthews at quarterback right now. They have a incoming junior, Gavin Sessions, that is QB1 right now. Landon King, wide receiver, Texas commit. He's going to be a mess. He's going to be hard to cover. Keith Wheeler the second. You saw some highlights there, Chase. from the highlight package. Chase Soul will also come in. He's a baseball player, but he's going to play a little wide receiver. Quincy Thompson, running back, is rehabbing. And Tyrus Winfield, a 2022 running back, who plays in the slot. Offensive line is a little bit young, but it's anchored by Cam Dewberry, who's been offered by U of H, Texas, Alabama, A&M, Ohio State, all the big ones. He's not real worried about the recruiting part of his life just yet. He's worried about being a great leader and a great teammate. Actually, I got a chance to catch up with him, and if we can roll that, we'll hear from Cam. The culture over there at Atascocita, just tell me a little bit about what it's like to be around that culture.
At Atascocita, it's a lot of family. Everybody's connected with each other. Everybody has fun. When we win, the school's all big and everybody's happy. Everybody supports each other's sport. It's just a lot of family atmosphere. Everybody's really close. Atascocita is a big community, but we're all together in one. So that's what Atascocita is really about.
And that culture extends to the football team because you guys are always right towards the top.
Right. Yeah. And the community is really a big part of our football team because they do so much for us. We cannot thank them enough. And they're a really big part of our football program.
When you saw the alignments for the district, what was your first thought?
First thing I thought was, we got to work harder. It's one of the toughest districts in the state, and we just got to be prepared. Like the other teams are preparing for us as well. So it's all around good competition. Everybody's going to be tough. And that's really the main thing right there. Just got to work harder. Got to be prepared more.
And because of no spring practice, do you think that it's going to benefit teams that have more talent, or are the coaches are more prepared, or maybe a little bit of both?
Mainly without no spring, it's really about the teams that's more disciplined. Who's going to be disciplined during this time where they don't have spring ball? Who's going to do what they need to do to, be ready for the season? Because whoever takes this time the most and be the smartest, they're gonna win the state championship. It's about who's the most disciplined right now during this time.
And that's what it's all about. So tell me a little bit about your team, just in general, the entire makeup of the team.
Okay, we got a young team because we just graduated a lot of seniors, and we're gonna have some more guys who's gonna come in and step up and be first-time varsity players. Everybody's been working. We just got to get ready and be prepared, and coaches will for sure coach us up because we have great coaches. So we're just gonna be ready and just have some young guys come in and step up and play.
Talk a little bit about your offensive line group.
My offensive line group is young. We're having one starter come back. He's a center, Xander Tompkins. He's going to be really well for us this year. But everybody else, we have open spots right now. Because it's a young team. So coach is going to coach up some players and get us a spot filled up.
And how do you help with that maturation process? Because you've been there, you've been in the fire already.
So I'm basically just trying to help every single lineman do what they can so they can be ready. If they ever need help with any plays or any technique or anything, I'm always there for them. I let them know that. We just always are, we're in Zoom calls all the time with coach and learning the plays and learning the scheme. And I just let them know, hey, like, if you guys not understanding this, you can come to me, just trying to be a leader of that O-line group.
Are you going to play on the right or left or both, or is it been determined yet?
It's not really determined yet. It depends, as the season goes, we can always change that because I can play both.
What's the outlook for you guys this year in 21-6A?
I feel like we can win the district championship. I have that much faith and confidence in my team. I feel like we can win this. That's our first goal, is win the district championship. And then we're going to try to rank first in offense and rank first in defense. And then I'm trying to go win a state championship. I have confidence in my team that we can do it. I believe in my coaches that we can do it. And I believe in my team that we will be able to do it this year.
All right, Chase, let me just talk a little bit about the defense. They got a lot of good experienced guys that played a little bit in district last year, but they do have a lot of guys that they need to replace. One guy, DJ Murchison from the cornerback, and why he's not committed somewhere, I have no clue. This guy was talented last year. I know we're talking about this year, but I had to throw that in because this young man played his heart out, but he was a leader. And so a guy named Caleb S. Burton, who is a has been a 3-year starter there at Atascocita. At cornerback, defensive end, Nico Campbell's back. So we're early. They've got a lot of things to figure out, but I have a feeling that Atascocita will be there.
Joe, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. Stay safe and stay healthy through this entire thing.
Thanks, Chase. Hey, listen, I just want to say one last thing before I went. Listening to you call those plays, those touchdowns, has got me going. I want the season to start now.
I'm ready for it too, man. I'm ready for it too. The Eagles, led by head coach Craig Stump. The Eagles are a perennial powerhouse in their own right and have one of the state's toughest individual schedules this upcoming season. Gavin had a chance to catch up with Coach Craig Stump yesterday. Let's take a look.
Standing by with Atascocita head coach Craig Stump. Coach Stump, let me start this over. Okay. Yeah. I know. Standing by with Atascocita head coach Craig Stump. Coach, how is your staff in keeping the Eagles in shape during this time away from organized team activities like the weight room and spring football?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. You know, we thought we were just going to have a workout out there for maybe a week or two, and it's been, week 8. So every week we put out I have a Google Classroom with all the kids on it, and so we post a workout for them, an at-home workout. Obviously, that it doesn't involve any free weights unless they have them at their house, which some do. But we post that every week. We have, and we ask them to show us video, and we keep up with them positionally. We have a staff meeting every Monday and go through the guys, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, and keep in touch with the coaches that way, and they're keeping in touch with their players. And then we also have position meetings twice a week. And so we're installing our offense and defense just like we were going through spring training.
Coach, your initial thoughts on the new District 21-6A, which has been called the toughest district in the state for 2020?
That's always fun, We've been in it before. We were in with Klein and Conroe at one point in time. But, yeah, I think it's a tough district. I think it's going to there'll be some surprises in the district. I think it's going to be challenging week in, week out, which is good. I think that's good for the players and all the programs.
Coach, on average, you guys were the highest scoring team in the entire state last season. What has to happen in 2020 in order to replicate that offensive success?
Well, a lot of that has to do with players. And, I think we're in a little different situation, right now. Last year we had 18 starters back, and that's a lot. And so those guys knew a lot about what was going on, and you could do a lot more with them. We're going to be brand new. We have new quarterback. We have 4 guys back on offense and about 4 or 5 back on defense. So we're brand new. So this time we really needed spring training, and this time is affecting us. Those kids are working hard. And so what needs to happen is our kids need to come in shape and ready to go. And we just have to match that level of execution. I think our kids want the expectations, so we're not going to drop down on that.
So speaking of your offense, your Eagles are losing some key pieces like you mentioned from last year due to graduation. Particularly, we'll talk about quarterback Bryce Matthews. And we saw Gavin Session get some playing time last year. And what are your plans to continue his development as the next signal caller at Atascocita?
Yeah, I think it's a prideful position. And, without spring training, so, he's still working on it. That job is not filled. He obviously would be the next guy in line, and as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do and comes in and competes and does it well, he's going to have to earn that spot. So, that position over the last 7 years has been an all-district performer or a most valuable player performer in our district that we've been in. So it's key to what we do. And, I'm looking forward to working with them.
Coach, your team has a history against Northshore, who's now in your district, and that's been a series that's been back and forth for both squads over the years, including the regional finals last year, and now they're in your district once again for the first time since 2017, fresh off another state title. How has the preparation already started for your showdown with Coach K's team come October 30th?
Yeah, it's been a little bit different, but I think our kids and those kids and their kids are very similar. We know one another. We were hoping to maybe get together during the summer and play 7-on-7 like we've done in the past, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. We've been fortunate. We've played them 4 times over the last couple of years, like you said, and we've won twice and they've won twice. So obviously their quarterback back is a big key. He's experienced and he makes that whole offense go, and so he'll be a key to that. And we're just looking forward to being in the same district again. You know, that's I think that's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people.
All right, Coach, final question. As a former coach yourself of the Bruins at Westbrook, how cool is it for you and your entire staff to get to play Westbrook again for the next 2 years?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of people there yelling at me, I'm sure. So, but that's okay. That's part of it. You know, I think right now where we're at with this program and where I'm at, I want to be in this kind of district. You know, this program I think is on a different level. You know, you have 6A programs, and Division I 6A is a whole nother level. I think than Division II, especially in our region, which is Dave Campbell's has said those kind of things, and about how tough Region 3 is in Division I. But that's where we want to be. You know, that's why we were going to hopefully still do. We're going to play Klein Collins week 1, and then go to Allen week 2, and Klein Oak, and then Denton Geyer. So it was a really tough preseason schedule, but I think we want to put our kids, you know, on that level. And I think it's and then have a tough district. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Coach, I know we're looking forward to it here in 2020. And thank you, Coach Stump. Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Gavin, the former Eagle, interviewing Eagles head coach Craig Stump. Gavin, what is your take on the 2020 Eagles?
Well, I think it's going to start with their strong offensive line. They're bringing back a couple guys up front, and they have to protect the junior quarterback Gavin Sessions, who saw some limited playing time last year. Came in some of the games they were winning big. Bryce Matthews was a starter. He's gone. He's going to play baseball at Nebraska, and I think they also have to let their upcoming senior running back Quincy Thompson run behind Cam Dewberry, who we saw Joe interview. He's a great kid, great offensive lineman, and Coach Todd Moses over at Atascocita, shout out to him. He's building a strong offensive line. They've got a history with the offensive linemen. They've got Kenyon Green, who went to A&M, Sam Cosby, that went to UT. And they're building a strong offense there. It starts with the offensive line, and then they have almost an entirely new defense that needs to be coached up, I think, and developed a little bit more by the defensive coordinator and the linebackers coach, Jacody Coleman. And I think for Atascocita, it just starts with bringing up some of those younger guys and developing them over the next couple months and seeing what they can do in 2020.
That now takes us to the 2020 Kingwood Mustangs. They have gone to the playoffs every year since 2017. They drew Westbrook last season. They are losing former head coach Barry Campbell. Cale Melton, the former defensive coordinator from Highland Park, takes over. I had a chance to catch up with him yesterday. Meeting him for the first time, very impressive guy. Take a look. We now come on new Kingwood head coach Cale Melton. Cale, how are you doing during this time?
I'm doing good. Just got down here last week and kind of getting acclimated a little bit to Kingwood, and but doing well. Family's doing well. We're doing good right now.
Coach, you're a new head coach coming over from a storied program in Highland Park. Why did you choose Kingwood?
Well, Kingwood seems to be a lot like Highland Park. You watch film on them. You look at things and you see that like the kids play hard, they get after it, I thought it was a good place and a good place for my family, and the storied history of athletics in general at Kingwood in every sport, I thought it was a good fit.
What have you been doing during all this time? You haven't been able to meet the kids all that much, or like you said before this interview, haven't gotten into the building. What have you done?
Well, I mean, I've gotten a little bit, but the thing about it is I met them twice before all this hit, and then we've been doing Zoom meetings. We've been breaking up into offensive and defensive meetings on Zoom, talking to them, meeting with the coaches, trying to get a plan together for next year, for the summer, the what ifs. You got to have a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on right now because you don't know what's going to happen. How much are they going to open up? Are the weight rooms going to open? So there's a lot of questions, but we're still answering a lot of those what ifs. We're trying to, if it's this, it's this, and so we've had meetings with coaches, we've had meetings with players, and then trying to figure out the what ifs. When's it going to open up? When are we going to get a chance to work with them? So that's what we've been doing. We've been in constant contact with of course our AD and with UIL and just everybody in general, just kind of try to piece together maybe when we're going to get that opportunity. So
are you optimistic that you will get that opportunity this upcoming season?
I am. I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic that things are going to open up and we're going to get an opportunity to have a football season this year.
That's good. What are some of the workouts you're doing on Zoom? Love to hear that.
Well, we don't do a whole lot of on Zoom. A lot of our stuff is sent through our through the Kingwood Mustang Twitter account. We also have a Google Classroom, and so I've got a coach that kind of does a lot of the strength and conditioning stuff. And so what we do is we'll take those workouts. We have a workout if they have weights at home. So we have two different ones and then one that doesn't. And we send that to them on Google Classroom. We'll also put it out on social media so that maybe if someone's not getting it, that they have the opportunity to use those workouts. And so, just tell them to get out and be active, be as active as they possibly can to get themselves ready because, everybody's getting ready right now. There's people that there's other schools that are working hard. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. The meetings have mainly been talking to them, just kind of getting to know them a little more. Offensive and defensive meetings because we're changing our system. We're changing offensively and defensively kind of what we do or what Kingwood's done in the past.
I was just about to ask about that. The last 8 seasons under Coach Barry Campbell, we've seen a pro-style offense, mainly under center, power I. On defense, we've seen 4-3 schemes, and, of course, you have a defensive background. What philosophy are you implementing on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball?
Well, on the offensive side, we're going to be we'll base out of a 20 personnel, so a 2-back set. So we'll be running some H-back, but we'll also run just a regular kind of a spread, what you would call it. A lot of people got to understand that spread's not just chunking the ball down the field either, though. But we're going to spread it out a little bit, get people out of the box because I think we've got some good running backs coming back, and we want to get people out of the box so that give them opportunity to run the football a little bit too. So we're going to do that. We're going to try to control the clock, but not with a run game, but also being able to throw the ball, screens, hitches, things like that. Defensively, we're going to be an aggressive style defense. We're going to be a 3-4. We're bringing what we've done at Highland Park. And so, we'll run, we're going to base out of some read 2 stuff. And then we're going to move around a lot. So you're going to see us flying to the football. We're going to do the little things right. Our biggest thing we're preaching to our kids right now is being fundamentally sound. Scheme will come later, but we want to be fundamentally sound. And that's how we're going to do it. We're going to fly around though. And so that's what you're going to see.
What have you seen on film that makes you excited the most? Who are the guys that you see on film that makes you the most excited?
Well, I think we've got quite a few guys coming back offensively. You've got Jack Douglas, who is the receiver. I think he had like 600 or 700 yards receiving last year, and they were in a pro-style offense. So I think that excites me a little bit. We've got some running backs back. Lutheran. We've got Brunell. So you got some guys and some big boys up front that are back on the offensive side. We've got defensive side. You got Grant Mize, you've got quite a few other guys that are back defensive. I think there's like 5 back defensively for us. In the secondary, and so we're just trying to, like I said, I'm watching film. I'm trying to figure out who they are, who can play where. And some guys are going to change positions. Some are going to move to different positions than they played last year. And so, I think we got some guys back. We're going to try to get them offensively and defensively. We got to get out. Offensively, we got to get out and throw the football a little bit, going and catching. And then defensively, we've got to work on some, little things in the secondary and things like that. So, but there's a few guys, there's, quite a few, but I'm still trying to learn names. So that's kind of the funny part right now.
I'll give you a name you're familiar with. This is a 21-6A preview. Apparently, you were high school teammates with Derek Blaylock. Tell me about that.
Derek and I played high school football together at Atlanta High School in East Texas. My dad coached us. My dad was a defense coordinator at Atlanta High School at that time. But yeah, both of us played at Atlanta. His went a little bit further. He went to Stephen F. and then on to the NFL. Had a great career. He's a great friend of mine. Derek's a great guy. And his kids are unreal too. So, but yeah.
You'll probably
see this got some athletes.
You'll probably be seeing them when they're at Atascocita. What do you see in the 21-6A district? It's very tough.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll definitely see them. 21-6A is a tough district. I mean it's from top to bottom. There's no weeks off. A lot of times, sometimes in districts you can get where I wouldn't say week off, but you know what I mean. There's time. Not in this one. Not in this one. Every week you better be ready and you better have it strapped on, because if you're not, you'll get knocked around a little bit. So that's the thing we're going to try to do is get ourselves ready to be fundamentally sound and get out there and play. So.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. Kay looks good on you. For this upcoming season and beyond.
I appreciate that. So, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for reaching out to me, and thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to y'all. So,
pleasure's all mine. Thank you, Coach.
You'll have a great day.
Let's see what Coach Cale Melton has in store for 2020 as we look back at the 2019 Mustangs.
So they have a bunch of people to throw to, and he's throwing again. Wall has a receiver, and that's Mancuso. And he's inside the 10, 5, and waiting for the signal. Touch. Bunch of people to throw to, and he's
now 3rd down and 7. Ayers gets the handoff left. Has plenty of running room. Look out for Drury. Ayers down the sideline. See you later. Touchdown, Kingwood.
Play fake, looking to throw. Wall dumps it off, passes complete to Duplichin on the screen. Duplichin's going to have the first down and then some across the 40. Still going across midfield into Eagle territory. 30, 25, 20. Inside the 10-5. Touchdown, Kingwood.
Pitch right to Ayers again. Ayers breaks a tackle. Gets by one would-be defender. And look out! Drury Ayers might be gone again! Down the left hash mark inside the 10. Drags the defender with him into the end zone for a touch.
7 to go. Back to pass. Nope, it's going to be a handoff to Sidney. Sidney takes it up the middle and comes out. Picked up at the 35 or the 45-yard line. Down across the 35, 25, 15, 10-5.
And 11 from the 12. Play fake. Wall has time. Going to air it out deep down the middle of the field, and it is caught! 2 defenders fall down! Jake Dugas is gone! Touchdown Kingwood, 88 yards for Jack Dugas. No flags.
Wall is out of the shotgun. Wall going for Dugas again. He's got it. Turns it upfield. He's inside the 20. He could go. He will go. Touchdown Kingwood, 55 yards.
Let's see what Coach Cale Melton has in store for 2020 as we look back at the 2019 Mustangs.
Chase, former Mustang, your take on the Kingwood Mustangs in 2020.
Yes, J.P. Mendoza is the starting quarterback for the 2020 Mustangs, losing former 2018 and 2019 starting quarterback in Grant Wall. Kingwood will be a lot of fun to watch this upcoming season. They'll have a new spread offense, 2 backs, he was telling us about, and a new defensive scheme. Going to be a lot of new faces and a lot of new defensive personnel, but they will have Duplichin and they will have Dugas at the skill position players. Going to be interesting to watch in this 21-6A district. That brings us, finally, last but not least, the Humble Wildcats. Let's take a look at the Wildcats going deep in the playoffs last season.
Weibel takes a snap looking to throw. Pass is complete left side. Spinning outside, hitting the left sideline is Robert Williams inside the 10-5. Touchdown Humble.
Dexter Weibel, the snap, looking right. It's a double move. He pumps, he fires for the end zone. That's a push off that didn't get called. It's a touchdown for Humble.
Price launching it downfield to an open wide receiver, and the 50-50 ball is caught.
Weibel sends him in motion. That's Harper. Fake on the jet sweep. Handoff. Running right side is Xavier. Sydney off to the races. Sydney is inside the 30, 25, 20. Still going. 10-5. Touchdown Wildcats.
Back Weibel, the quarterback. He wants to throw. Double move. He'll fake it. He's throwing it up high for McCray. McCray elevates. McCray. Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown, Humble! Touchdown, McCray!
It'll be a jet sweep play to Donald Harper running left side. Harper finds running room, cuts it back up the middle inside the 15, bounces outside. 10-5. Touchdown Humble. Receivers two to either side. Weibel takes a snap on first down, looking to throw. Airs it out down the field, has it in wide open. It's caught inside the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10-5. Touchdown Wildcats on the first play from scrimmage. Pistol set for Span. One receiver to the left, one to the right. Span will keep it, looking to throw. Pass is going to be picked off at the 25-yard line. Convoy out in front. Touchdown Humble.
Left. Here in the corner. They'll hand it off. And now a double pass. Harper. Touchdown. Humble.
One receiver up top to his right. Weibel takes a snap, drops back, looking to throw. Heaves it left side. Pass is going to be caught inside the 30. And taking it into the end zone for the Humble touchdown is Robert Williams. Takes in the snap. Gets the punt up and away. McCray will field it back inside the 40. McCray up across the 45, across midfield. Hitting the right sideline goes McCray. Cutting it outside, McCray inside the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Humble.
Coming off a Cinderella story that culminated in a third-round district finish in a regional semifinal berth, the Wildcats are under the direction of Charles West, who was joined by Gavin Moritz yesterday.
Welcome in Coach West from Humble. Coach West of the Humble Wildcats. How have you been your Humble staff and keeping your players in shape physically and mentally during this period of uncertainty?
Well, mentally, just hoping that they're holding on to basically families and loving on each other and just telling them that we're going to get through this just like we got through the football season. You just like you face injuries, you just gotta weather the storm and just wait till we get directives to get back to doing what we normally do. As far as conditioning and staying in shape, there's not much that the kids can do. Parents are keeping them inside, but we tell them to do the things that they can do around the house: push-ups, jog around the block, in the backyard, whatever their parents are allowing them to do. That's what we're telling them to do.
Coach, now when you heard that you guys would not only be in a district with your fellow Humble ISD schools, but the other three powerhouses in CE King, Northshore, and Westbrook, what was your initial reaction?
Good. It's realignment. Let's get ready to play some football.
I like that. Coach, your team surprised a lot of people last season, making it all the way to the third round and getting to play at NRG. What do you credit for your success of your Wildcats last year?
Definitely preparation and senior leadership. Anytime you have any success, it's because of seniors and leadership from the kids. I definitely think that the coaching staff did a great job, and then not only that, we stayed away from injuries. We've been hit with the injury plague since I've been here, and last year we was able to stay away from it and and God blessed us to keep our kids healthy.
With the departure of Dexter Weibel, who, by the way, I thought took a tremendous leap from his junior to senior season, how are you and your staff going to groom the younger guys in that quarterback room to potentially fill his shoes in the coming years?
Well, the grooming would have started in the off season and spring, but I think everybody's in the same boat. I think Jeremiah Price, he did a great job. He played a ton last year, and right now he's the starter. And we're going to, and our kids that behind him, they're coming up. They've been in the program. They know the system. They just haven't been in the fire. So we're just going to see what they have to offer and let them get out there and play some ball.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed with Jeremiah Price last season when I saw him come in. Final question, Coach. Your team earned the first playoff win in your tenure at the helm of the program last year. So what needs to happen now, between now and the start of the season in August, to put your team in a position to make the postseason and contend once again?
One step at a time, one day at a time.
I like that, Coach. Thank you, and best of luck.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Gavin, after discussing with Coach West yesterday, what are your thoughts on the Humble Wildcats?
Well, it's going to start with the quarterback, Jeremiah Price, who we saw Coach West said he played a ton last year behind Weibel, and Weibel and McCray are gone on the offensive side of the football. They're both gone to college, graduation, and Jeremiah Price is going to have to come in and lead the offense in 2020, and I think it's going to be interesting to see because we saw Chase Pena, the quarterback for Humble, back in 2018 lead the way, and then Weibel comes in 2019, leads the way, and leads them to the playoffs, only the third round where they lost to Katy Taylor. So Price is going to come in and try to replicate more or less of what Weibel did last year. And then I think this is a different team than last year. It's a tougher district, so I think Humble needs to not forget about what they did last year, but focus on the future and what they need to do in 2020 in order to get back and contend.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We saw a lot of promise last season. I called their last game against Katy Taylor. The sky is the limit for the Humble Wildcats, and the sky is the limit for this 21-6A district. Gavin, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts, I think when everyone's calling it the toughest district in Texas high school football for 2020, I think they're correct. I think it'll be a tough district. I think the 4 teams that are able to come out and make the playoffs out of it will be battle-tested and ready to go for state and the playoffs and for the future.
That'll do it from us in the TexanLive.com studios in Humble. I want to thank ABC 13 sports producer Joe Gleason, Gavin Moritz, fun as always. I'm Chase Snyder signing off from Humble. Thank you for joining us once again.